Grüß Gott, bin schon wieder da. Today's topic is going to be basic sentence structure. I'm going to show you how to put a sentence together in German and show you that the language is very flexible. And by contrast, I'm going to show you that English is a rather inflexible language and it doesn't allow for a whole lot of mobility within a sentence. We could take our example sentence right here. My friend bought me nothing for my birthday. In English, it doesn't really work all that well to change the order of the different parts of the sentence. It really works one way and that's kind of it. I suppose you could say, for my birthday, my friend bought me nothing. To me, sounds a little odd though, but it really doesn't work to say, me bought my friend nothing for my birthday, or nothing bought my friend for me for my birthday. Those don't make any sense at all. We would never say that in English, but I'm going to show you in German that it does work just fine. Second tile here. German sentences are much more flexible, and quite often what we do is we put the part that we want to emphasize at the beginning of the sentence, so that's the first thing that the listener hears. We have an abbreviation that we usually follow in class, and it's TMP. T standing for time, usually comes first in a sentence. It doesn't have to, but usually comes first. M standing for manner, which is usually in the middle of a sentence. By manner we mean how something happens, quickly, slowly. And the P stands for place, usually comes last. So time comes first, how it happens comes next, and where it happens comes last. And again, that's a tendency, it's not a hard and fast rule. So, mobility in a German sentence. I've got the same sentence written 4 times on this paper here, and I'm going to show you one little trick. Down at the bottom, it says the verb always stays in the same spot. If you can tell on this, the brown word there, fahre, is the verb. And every time it's going to stay in the same spot. Now, by spot, I don't mean it's going to be the second word every time. I mean, grammatically speaking, as far as parts of the sentence are concerned, it's always going to be number 2. In this sentence, am Wochenende, time phrase is number 1. Verb is 2. This next one, ich, the subject is first, fahre is spot 2. Mit Freunden, prepositional phrase, with friends is first, verb, fahre is spot 2. In die Stadt, prepositional phrase again, verb is second. Always in the second spot in a regular German sentence. You can take all of these parts and shift them around however you like. In the first sentence, am Wochenende, on the weekend, is in spot 1. In this next sentence, it's in spot 3. In this sentence, it's in spot 4. And in this sentence, it's dead last. And it works any way that you say it. It really doesn't matter. Ich, in this one, is in spot number 1. That's my subject. But in this sentence, it's in spot number 3. And as we go along, you'll learn that the subject of a sentence in a regular German sentence is going to be either first or it's going to be third. The verb will stay 2. Subject will be either first or third. We'll talk more about that as we go along. You can see my place, in die Stadt. In the first 3 examples, I put it last. If I wanted to, though, I could put it first to emphasize the fact that to the city is the most important part of the sentence. Now, everything we've talked about so far has been for regular German sentences, for declarative sentences, things that just say what's happening. There are different kinds of sentences, though, like questions, for example. With questions, just like in English, you have 2 options. You can either start with the question word, the who, what, when, where, why, that can come first, or the verb. In English, we have the option of saying, where are you going? I started with the question word where. I also have the possibility of starting a question with the verb. Do you know what I'm saying? We use do as the helping verb in spot number 1. Same concept that we have in German. Either the question word or the verb. I've got 6 examples here for you. In the pink sentences here, or questions rather, each one of them starts with a question word. Wann kommt der Zug an? So when does the train arrive? Wo ist der Bahnhof? Where's the train station? Was machen wir heute? What are we doing today? Our other option is to start with a verb. Now the nice thing about German is we don't use helping verbs. There's no do you hear me? Are you coming with? It's just hear you me? Come you with? So our second set here, gehen wir in die Stadt? Are we going to the city? Spielen wir heute Fußball? Are we playing soccer today? And ist 15 Jahre alt? Is he 15 years old? So again, quick recap. Either question word first or the verb first when we're making a question in German. The imperative. So we've talked about a declarative sentence, we've talked about an interrogative, a question sentence. We're going to talk about an imperative one now, a command. With a command form, you start with the verb. We'll talk more about commands on a later video, but for right now, if you're making a do command, you're talking to somebody you know very well, and you can say their first name with them, you're going to make a command, it needs to start with the verb. Mach deine Hausaufgaben, do your homework. Komm mit, come with. If I'm talking to multiple people that are familiar, friends of mine, I would say macht eure Hausaufgaben, do your homework. Kommt mit, come along. Verb still in the first spot. We're not going to mess with the endings right now, but just as an illustration, with imperative senses, the verb comes first. If I'm talking to a formal, I'm going to say, gehen Sie einkaufen, go shopping. Hören Sie mal zu, listen. And our last one's going to be the inclusive command, the we command, as in like, let's do this. First one will be, gehen wir einkaufen, let's go shopping. And hören wir mal zu, let's listen. Word order in a nutshell.